If I've learned two things from my previous career as a beauty vlogger, it's that Jeffree Star's makeup palette is actually pretty appropriately priced for what you get. And also that the most beautiful things are ultimately kind of sad. The same is true on guitar. So we're going to talk about the most beautiful chord that you can play on guitar, but not just a single chord, a whole family class of chords. And if you've ever watched any of my videos, you know that I'm talking about the major 7 chord. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about major 7 chords, what makes them beautiful, how to even play them, why they're beautiful, and then I'm actually going to make a song by the end of it, really just shoehorning as many major 7 chords as possible into it and see how it goes. All right, this video is sponsored by DistroKid because that's how I get all my music online. I'm going to put the song that I'm going to perform at the end of this lesson vlog style video online, so I'll talk more about that later. But let's start out, all right? The easiest chord you could ever play on the guitar is just putting your finger on the 2nd fret of the high E string and then strumming the bottom highest 4 strings, right? That's a G major 7, okay? Now, the easiest way to play a G major is just 1 fret higher, the 3rd fret, and then get the bottom 4 strings. There's a major chord, G major. If we just move this, G major 7, all right? Anybody can do this, all right? Rocking the Martin D35 today, by the way. But what we're doing is we're taking a major chord, right? You probably already played G major. A G major 7 is when you just add the 7th note in the key to a G major chord, okay? But you're doing more than just that, right? So the easiest way to find the 7th note in any major key is just take a root note and go back 1 fret, okay? Now the high E and the low E are the same thing. So you can play a G major 7 like this. Or just like this. There's a couple different voicings, different ways to play the same chord. You play that chord all over the place, right? But we're going to talk about different ways to do this and why is it so pretty, right? What is it about this? Well, it's because of that 7th note that actually adds a minor chord to the major chord that you're playing. So if we just look at this from a scale standpoint, what makes up a major chord is you take the major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You take the 1st note, the 3rd note, and the 5th note. G, skip the A as the 2nd note, take the 3rd note, B, skip the C as the 4th note, 5th note, D. 1, 3, 5. It makes a lot of sense on a piano. Here's a G major chord. Okay, now when you add that 7th note on a guitar, there's that F sharp would be the 7th note in the key of G. It's one thing to make it as a guitar shape, but on a piano it makes sense because it's spread out a little bit more. Now, what's really cool is you have this dissonance, all right? Depending on the chord voicing that you use, you may hear more or less dissonance. Where do you put that F sharp and where is it in relation to a G note? Again, back to a piano, when you hear them right next to each other, the F sharp and the G right next to each other, it can sound dissonant. It sounds much, much different than if you put it on top. You put that 7th note the farthest away higher from the root note. Okay, so that's why on a guitar, the voicing that you use makes all the difference, all right? But like I said, a G major chord is a G, a B, and a D. Well, what happens when we add that 4th note? Any major or minor chord is just 3 different notes. G, B, D, F sharp. Well, we're actually burying a minor chord inside of that bigger 4-note chord. We have a B, a D, and an F sharp. If we took that G out of the equation, we'd end up with a B minor, all right? So B minor is kind of like people classify it as like a sad sounding chord, right? G major is a happy sounding chord, right? Again, these are basic terminologies, but if we just take a B minor and then put the root there, we get the best of both worlds. We get the beauty and the joy, or the happiness and the joy of G major, and then a little bit of that tinge of sadness that love never lasts from that B minor, right? So, that's, in my opinion, what makes it so beautiful is you start out with a major chord, but also it's a minor chord, right? They're stacked kind of on top of each other. Now, the goal here for what I'm going to do for the rest of this video is I'm just going to record a song with a bunch of major 7 chords. In any key, there are 2 naturally occurring major 7 chords, right? They happen on the 1st and the 4th degree. The first note, G, A, B, and the 4th note, C. So G major 7 and C major 7 are 2 chords that are in the same key, the key of G, the 1 and the 4 chord. Again, a ton of different ways to play that. 1 and 4, 1 and 4. This is one of my favorite chord voicings that I'm going to be using actually for the song is we're going to root on the A string pointer finger. Again, there's your C, right? Ring finger on the 5th fret of the D string, middle finger on the 4th fret, right there, and then your pinky on the 5th fret of the B string. So in the middle 4 strings, 3, 5, 4, 5. Okay? You do the same thing. This is a movable shape. Anytime you put this shape on the A string, whatever note your pointer finger's on, that's going to be the root note. C, major 7, C sharp, major 7, D, major 7, D sharp, major 7, E, major 7, F, major 7, so on and so forth, right? So let's actually talk about the main chords for the song I'm going to record right here. And basically, the main part is going to sound like this. And I'm going to actually open up the high E string for part of this. So these chords technically shouldn't be in the same key, but because we have such a beautiful sound, we're actually just moving that entire chord around, moving that feeling, that emotion around with each chord, okay? There's gonna be one other part. And then a little bit of a riff. Okay, so what we have an intro. Then to D major 7, C major 7, B flat major 7, C major 7, D major 7. There are easier voicings that we can use. D major 7, just the 2nd fret on the G, B, and E strings. C major 7, B flat major 7. God bless you if you're on that B flat tip. Okay, so basically I'm going to record a song and try to make some music actually fit with that progression, to try to make something beautiful out of the joy and the sadness of life and the joy of the sadness of just major and minor chords combined with each other. And then I'm going to tell you more about DistroKid, how you get your music online, and how cheap it is, and how you can even get a discount. So let's make some music. All right, so one thing I do want to talk about the intro here is we have this sound. Which is really like a D suspended. You can almost think of it as like a D to a D7, because we're going back and forth between this D and this C. So the intro kind of sets up like it's in D and then D dominant 7, but really it's just kind of foreshadowing of movement from a D major 7 to a C major 7. So that's why when it goes to the major 7, it doesn't sound so jarring, because it's already been set up by this little riff. You can call that a riff. I think it sounds kind of cool. Which brings us to the sponsor of this video, and that is DistroKid. DistroKid is a service that puts your music online to like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, everything. They make you your own YouTube channel page just to kind of give you like a YouTube music video that just has a song that you can share with people. However you want to do it. It's the only way to get your music online as far as I'm concerned. I've been using it forever. You can click the link in the description to get you an extra percentage off, but even then it's only at full price. It's like $20 per year for unlimited amounts of uploads. And it happens so quick. I just did a project with Drea. We just did like a short EP under the Andrea and Sean name, and we uploaded it through DistroKid. It was up in like 2 days. Now sometimes it takes like at least 5 business days or whatever, but usually it's like the only service I've ever used in my life that the price is so right, and they usually over deliver too, because it usually goes up sooner than they say it will, and you can also set it to come out at a specific time and date, but we had to get that project up as soon as possible. Anyways, that is what I'm going to be uploading the song you're about to hear to through DistroKid as soon as I get a music video, because another thing that they provide is they let you do the Spotify canvassing, where you can see that kind of like little mini thing in the back that just makes a certain song on Spotify just kind of pop out. Handle all that stuff through DistroKid. They sponsored a few videos this month, so I'm going to be talking about them and some other cool things with them. So if you have questions about the service, let me know and I can answer them in future videos, because they've been awesome. Shout out to the good people at DistroKid. Definitely use their service. Click that link in the description to show some love. And now let's get to the actual song. I have presided over the sycophants instead, and have provided cover in sickness and in health. No rooting interest, by the thinnest of margins we find. I am the watch and keeper true, the seeker divine. Grim reaper faith, leaper decide. Cloud in your eyes, in the midst of the mountaintop, see them as one and the same. The shallow, deep breathing of blue waves retreating and flooding the shoreline again. I am the watch, maker light, taker divine. Bond breaker match, maker decide. And keep me in your thoughts and prayers. That grain of salt hangs in the air, that feeling that always knew inside. They came before and wrote the rules that handed down a book of fools. You speak their words, but always knew they lied. You are the time keeper true, seeker divine.